What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. I'm Doug, and I'm joined here by my good friend and fellow nerd Pre Vizsla, aka Dave. How you doing there, Dave?
I am grand, and it sucks that Keith will not be able to join us. He's getting on an airplane probably right at the moment, and you know, it was just probably the most exciting TV day of the year so far
hmm
with the Mandalorian premiering, and what an episode! It was only 38 minutes, but it was so refreshing to have that show back.
It really was. But you know what? Keith kind of did it to himself. If he wouldn't have taken his hat off like we told him and shown the world his bald head, then we wouldn't have to have declared him as an apostate
I beg you for your forgiveness. How can I atone?
Leave, apostate.
and kicked him out of our club. So, he's going to have to get on a plane, go down to Florida and bathe in the waters, probably get eaten by a crocodile, and then we'll let him back in to Not Your Status Quo. That's just the rules.
See, it was fine for me to be bald because I came in this way, and
Exactly,
right.
exactly. He knew what he was getting into.
Yep, he pulled that card at the wrong time, sir.
I mean, after all, this is the way.
This is the way.
Mm.
You got the blue milk, baby.
Of course, I got the blue milk. We're on a space adventure. On a space adventure with our old pal Din Djarin and Grogu.
Did you see Free Vizsla was on that beach at the beginning? That's
I
why I think
did,
it came up.
I did, but I was still thrown off. Okay, here's the thing: I just assumed, okay, maybe it's a guy that looked like him, or hell, I don't know, maybe it's his dad or something, or I don't know, your mom. But, but yeah, like I'm seeing all these Mandalorians, and here's the thing: the last time that we saw all of them, it was him and the armorer, and they were hanging out in some basement on that ring world or whatever the hell that was, and they were complaining about, yeah, we're all dead. It's only the two of us, and
Mhm.
life is really hard.
I am sorry for your sacrifice.
There are three of us now. We'll put you to work soon enough.
So seeing all of them on the beach, and then seeing them, basically baptizing that kid into the way, and honestly, with the hair and everything, I thought, oh, this must be young Din Djarin, and this must be earlier when they were a much bigger clan.
Yep.
But no, totally opposite. Apparently, quite a bit of time has passed, obviously. In
Yep.
fact, we actually, there was an interview with John Favreau. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But
Mhm.
yeah, a lot of time has clearly passed. Din's off doing space adventures with Grogu after helping out Boba Fett write his book or whatever that show is about. Um, and yeah, they've really built up. So in the trailer where we saw all those Mandalorians with the different colored helmets and armor, yeah, that was the Children of the Watch.
Yeah, and it's funny. You guys always mention that the armor has the horns,
Yeah.
from Darth Maul
hmm
and his type. Um, it's weird because I never really noticed it until this episode. Well, I noticed it, but it kind of stuck out in this episode. It's like they're subtly setting something up for later.
Oh, I can totally see that. Yeah, I think you're right.
In this alligator,
You mean like the
how
one
did,
that's going to eat Keith?
yeah, he'll be down there saying this is the way, and then the next thing you know, he's going to be attacked.
Right.
And so, how did Din know that this was happening?
Man, I don't know. Maybe Grogu told him with the Force. It was pure luck, I think, that he showed up when he did. First off, why did he have to go through? Because I was thinking about that too. Why did he have to go through all the stuff that he did, trying to find the armor and Pre Vizsla or Paz Vizsla, or whatever his name, Vizsla? Why did he have to go through all of that trying to figure out which basement they were in on Ringworld? But he just happens to fly in when they needed him the most, when they're getting attacked by an alligator monster.
Right, and he's supposed to be on this trip to Mandalore anyway.
Right. Oh, yeah. That's the other thing. Okay. Again, with the amount of time that's passed, what has he been doing?
Right. What I guess we'll find out as the season goes on.
Just
But it's what the
screwing
3
around the galaxy. Do you go visit Space Boston?
Well, they did get to see the Pergil. Are they Pergil or
I
Pergil?
see. I thought it was Purgle, but I think I've heard other people pronounce it Purgil, so I don't know now. I guess, you know what? Put it in the comments. Let us know how to pronounce it. Type it out phonetically so we can figure it out.
Absolutely.
What the bloody blazes are those?
Purgils.
When I saw the Pergil, we'll go back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, yep, they're setting up the Ezra story right now.
Oh, yeah.
And he was, definitely the worst part of Rebels. I think everybody agrees on that. But when he comes back, he won't.
See, that's what turned me off of Rebels pretty quick. And I think I mentioned that. I've actually mentioned that to you guys a couple of times before. I don't remember if I've said it in a recording, but it was one of the reasons why when it originally premiered, I didn't want to keep watching it because I'm like, oh my gosh, this kid is annoying. And
It was.
he reminded me of Luke in the beginning of A New Hope, but like if he just kept going and didn't change.
Like Luke, immature Luke times 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was annoying. But I stuck with it because Keith kept telling me how good of a show it was, and I'm glad I did.
I am glad that I went back and I did give it a chance. And, I've still skipped a couple of episodes that were like especially cringy, but I've watched most of it and I've watched most of the episodes that really matter. Like basically every episode that had Maul in it, every episode that had Darth Vader, every episode that had Ahsoka, the important ones.
Mm-hmm.
I even went back and I watched the Leia episode. Good stuff. But wow, we went and did it again. Back to Mandalorian.
It's still the Star Wars universe, though, so we can claim that.
There. Oh, okay, I like that. Good.
So, all right. So he's going to the mines of Mandalore, which are under the city of Sundari, which is where the armorer told him to go. Obviously, he hasn't made it there yet, but
Right.
but if he finds the water under there, is it going to be mystical? Is it going to be magical, or is it just going to be symbolic?
I honestly think it's probably symbolic because if you think about it, their whole idea is following the way of the Mandalore, right? So yeah, this is probably just dating back, if you think, all the way back to Tar Vizsla, who created the Darksaber and became the first Mandalore. This is something that, he probably declared when they came up with their sort of religion of the way. And this is what they follow. So I have to agree with you, Dave. I'm pretty sure it's probably symbolic and more so than anything. But the thing is, who's going to be there to watch him? Like, what's really stopping him other than himself feeling guilty? What's stopping him from saying, oh, yeah, I went there. There was water. Totally bathed in it.
He's going to bring his iPhone with him.
Took my bath.
In the water. You know what I mean? But it's like, all right, so now here's my thought. If Din has the Darksaber, which he does,
Yeah.
doesn't that make him the new Mandalore?
Basically, according to what Moff Gideon said at the end of season 2, and also what Bo-Katan said, that seems to be the idea that as long as he won it in combat, and he has it. In fact, even Bo-Katan said in this episode, as long as he went to the other Mandalorians and just waved it around, just waved it around,
they'd all fall in line.
They'd all follow him. So
my question is, if he is the Mandalore, can he make the rule that he doesn't have to go to Mandalore? He doesn't have to go and bathe in the waters.
I feel like he probably could, but he also doesn't seem interested in being their leader. It doesn't seem like something he actually wants to do.
True.
So I think he's kind of picking and choosing. He's like any other religious person. Sorry, not sorry, but he's picking and choosing things that he wants to do and things that he doesn't. So he wants to be a true Mandalorian, and in his eyes, a true Mandalorian follows away, as he pointed out to Bo-Katan. And I think would they still be considered the Night Owls in season 2 who rescued him on the ship?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so he told Bo-Katan and the Night Owls basically like you remove your helmets. You are not Mandalorian. Where did you get that Beskar from? And they immediately they're looking at each other like, oh, he's a child of the Watch. Okay, which first off, Bo, come on, girl, you also were of the Watch at one point, so chillax.
Calm the hell down. And she also, sitting on her throne when he got to what was that? The name
For
of that planet?
who? For who
Yeah.
was she doing that for? Nobody was there.
Oh, it was so funny when he's walking down that huge hallway and he finally gets up
Mhm.
there and he says, "Hey, I'm here," and like she couldn't have seen him coming the whole way. You know what I mean? I know I
Yeah.
saw you for the last 20 minutes, but
You're not gonna get up. You're not gonna say anything. You're just gonna
yeah,
chill there in your throne with nobody here except for the droid that you kind of made look like you. Weird
she gets to
flex.
sit there all the time. What is she? I mean, how does she eat? She's alone on this planet. I forgot the name of the planet too. Kevlar, Kavara.
That would be funny.
It's it's in the same solar system, which is strange because it's a planet within the same solar system as Mandalore that also sustains life. I mean, it also sustains life on Concordia, right, which is the moon of Mandalore.
Right.
So I guess it's possible.
So I wanted to ask you, and by the way, the planet's name was Calva. I'm not gonna try and pronounce it. But was there a reason that maybe I missed as to why he stopped there to speak to her? Like, does he need her permission to go to Mandalore? Like, why did
I
he
would,
even go there?
yeah. When he walked in, he said he wanted to join her.
Which, weird. Why?
Yeah,
Is it because he thinks that he can't go to Mandalore without being part of a Mandalorian clan, and he doesn't think he's part of one right now, or something?
maybe he just doesn't want to go alone because he doesn't know what's going to happen and he might need backup. You know,
Okay, I suppose that could be.
I mean, if the whole surface is like that little little rock that he
Mm-hmm.
gave the armor, then
All
he might
glass.
need help getting through to the living waters.
I could see that.
You never know.
Yeah, she had some major attitude when he walked up to her, though. I thought that was hilarious. She was just like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah." I don't have anyone here, and in case you didn't notice, when
Yeah.
I showed up and I didn't have the dark saber, they were like deuces. So
Peace.
I I kind of want to see a flashback. I want to see how that went down. Like she shows up to Mandalore and they're ready to take back the planet and everything, and they're like, "All right, we're ready. We're gonna follow you, Bo-Katan. Where's the dark saber? I'm not seeing a dark saber on you. Is it like in your pocket? Do you have pockets? Do Mandalorian women have pockets in their armor? I don't. How does this work? No, you don't have it. Oh, some random dude has it. Cool. All right. Well,
Cool.
we're gonna take off then.
Yeah. If he comes by, just send him our way.
Right. So I guess that's why she probably made the comment that she did. Like, yeah, all you have to do is go find them, swing it around, and they'll follow you. Which I don't know. Was that like a dig at them? Like at how like flippant her former followers were?
I think she was just disgusted by the whole situation. I think she is going to be the antagonist. I think she's going to have a
Mhm.
problem. She's not going to conform to anything. This is what she wants, and it's kind of making her a little bit evil. If you look at it, she wants it done her way, and like we say about the Marvel villains, they do have a reason for what they do.
Right.
She's not doing it because she wants to be evil. She thinks her way is the best way, and she's not gonna. She doesn't want to fight Din Djarin for it because they're not enemies.
Mm-hmm. And
So
it would
she's
also make her look bad. She knows that.
hmm so she's disgusted by the whole situation. That's what I took from it. So she's
Now,
really disappointed.
with her sitting on that throne in that Mandalorian castle, as Din called it, is she by doing that? Is she claiming that she's the queen of Mandalore or whatever it would be called? Like,
Uh,
is she basically saying, I don't have the dark saber, but I'm still the ruler?
I would imagine so. But
Hmm.
she sits on a throne of lies.
Right. Or as Moff Gideon put it, without the dark saber, she is but a pretender.
Hmm. Yeah, she's got no one to follow her. No one. And that
Hmm.
sucks, 'cause that's been her whole goal. Not even her, the two that were with her during the last season are there.
Right. Where the heck do they go?
They just took off. They said, "Hey, I'm with them."
Do you
Well, as far
think
as we know,
Do you think all of the new recruits that the Children of the Watch got, do you think some of them were Bo-Katan's followers?
I would have to think so. Yeah.
That would be hilarious if they went from like, oh yeah, we're totally backing Bo-Katan to, yeah, we're just gonna not take our helmets off anymore. It seems to be working out pretty good.
Yeah. It's working for this other guy. So,
Right.
oh, and here we are, 100% right again. The Cara Dune moment.
Hmm.
Uh, she was taking uh, Moff Gideon back to the New Republic,
Right.
just like
We
you
were
said.
trying to figure out like what they were gonna say about that. Yeah. Once again, we're right. Good job, Dave, for pointing that out. Not your status quo, 100% correct all the time.
All the
Every one of our theories.
time. But what are they going to do? They could always just replace it with another actress. I don't know why, you know, Star Wars is so against that.
Why do they do that? I So is it because of Solo?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean,
Do you
because
think like they had a different actor for Solo? The fans like lost their collective minds and said no, no, no. So they're like, okay, quick, CGI, Leia back to life, and everybody else. Nobody's allowed to die in Star Wars anymore.
yeah, that's just recast it. It wasn't really that big of a part anyway. She
Hmm.
was in like 3 or 4 episodes over 2 seasons. I'm sure you could find someone else who is generally
It would be
just
fine.
like her. Yeah, it'd be fine. No one would care.
Hmm. Now,
Agreed.
I love all the changes that we got to see on Nevarro. Again, showing that time has passed is it looks even more like, I mean, it looked nice in season 2, but then it got even better. So like it went from just having, oh yeah, so we've got a couple of nice buildings, and we've got some traders in the street, and we have a school, to now all of a sudden it's like a fully flourishing city. You've got
Hmm.
Grief Karga walking around with his little droid. I love his little droids that are carrying his cape to make sure that it doesn't touch the ground.
Right, that
I
was
like
fun.
that he's calling himself a high magistrate, which I have to imagine, I think that's his way of trying to separate himself from the rest of the New Republic, because I can't imagine that's an official title. That's got to be something he gave himself.
Yeah, unless he's just high all the time.
Well, there's
But
that.
I mean, he still got it. He still took down those pirates,
Oh
even
yeah,
though
he moved
Din was there.
quick shot.
Yeah, and I disagree with him. I agreed with him at first by letting the one pirate go to warn the others,
Hmm.
but then you knew that they were going to get attacked, and never trust a pirate.
I didn't see that coming. I didn't expect that to happen in this episode.
Hmm.
I figured it was like just a little like thing to kind of let us know, hey, this will be a problem in the future. You know, Din Djarin's going to have to deal with pirates later on. I did not literally think he was going to take off, and like 5 minutes later, Din was going to be in a firefight in space dealing with like an entire pirate battalion. I was like, oh, well, that escalated quickly.
But it showed he's a hell of a pilot to get through the asteroid field. And I don't know if the pirates are going to be that big of a thing
I hope
this
not.
season. Yeah, I'm thinking no. They got too much to go over.
He's got enough stuff to worry about. We don't need
Right,
pirates on top of it.
right. After he gets everything solved at the very end, it's going to come back to that pirate guy.
Oh, right, pirates. Forgot.
Pirates
But
and Purgils.
you know what he didn't say, and I'm very disappointed in Star Wars for having done this in this premiere episode. As he was flying around avoiding the pirates, Not once did he say, "Now this is pod racing."
Or, I've got a bad feeling about this. He did do a Star Wars joke when he shot the IG-11, but I can't recall what it was. It was something really simple, like when C-3PO said, "Well, I'm beside myself."
Oh,
It was
oh
one of those.
yeah. Okay, so he made a little pun joke.
Yeah, it was like
Oh,
a George Lucas joke.
okay. Speaking of IG-11, okay, that kind of bothered me in this episode just a little bit. First off, this whole episode is basically a setup episode, and I get that you got to do that to get the ball rolling again, to get him, you've got to give Mando his side quests. He's got to, once again, gather his little RPG troop. He's got to get his wizard and his cleric and everybody else to go on his missions with him and, go take his bath on Mandalore. But, like, why that droid? Why does it specifically have to be that droid? Like Grief Karga even said, he's like, there are plenty of other droids. You can program a bunch of, and the thing is, like, he didn't even originally get along with IG-11, and then the reprogrammed IG-11 he barely got along with. It was like they had a moment together for maybe like an hour tops.
Yeah, I mean, he never trusted droids to begin with.
Right.
So even if he gets this IG-11 up and running again, which I love those little Enzarians. Those were
That was great.
they were so awesome. But, yeah, and he's translating even though he can understand it. I thought that was funny.
The bucket.
Okay.
Not the thing. No, the bucket. The bucket.
I don't understand. Do you speak Huttese?
Big
Mando, he said he can't fix it.
That's no good. I need this one. This one is my friend.
They're not friends anymore.
But yeah, even if they get it up and running, right? It makes no sense if you can just reprogram another droid.
That's what I was saying. And didn't they even tell him that even if he was able to find the memory circuits, it doesn't guarantee that they can bring back his memory of being a nanny droid or whatever it was that Din's trying to get out of him. Like, there's so much of this that it feels unnecessary. It feels like he made the stop and he went through all this trouble, which, okay, I will give them props for this. I did not know that Din Djarin was supposedly a robotic engineer. That's a first for me. I really thought he just had like bounty hunter skills, but shit, I guess I had that to his resume, right?
Yeah, you got to know what you're doing out there in space. But, I guess eventually it's going to come into focus, all of this stuff. This is, and you're right, this is like a setup episode. But I thought about that while I was watching it, and I was like, they have to set up, like with the Crate Dragon story of last season, when it seemed like, all right, this doesn't seem like it's really going to push the story forward. It's a setup so you can enjoy the rest of the season with all the little, you can look back at all the Easter eggs when you get past this episode,
Right, like the Jawas having the Crate Dragon skull on their thing, going back to Freetown and seeing the rib cage inside the bar.
Yes, absolutely. Now I want to see if, since Cobb Vanth really appeared on Mandalorian first, is he going to come from the back to tank and be part of this show, or is he only going to be on Boba Fett?
That's a good question. Also, how long has he been in this back to tank? Again, we're not clear how much. We know a lot of time has passed, but we don't know how much. Supposedly, and again, this is up for debate because it could be just a misinterpretation. I'll make sure that I'll put the little clip right here.
Here's our roundtable interview with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau.
Oh, here we go.
There we go.
Dave can't duck any questions, right?
That's not true. I'm going to bend like a reed in the wind.
Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Hello.
The Mandalorian and the Jedi have a long history in the galaxy far, far away, and both are rebuilding in the show's era. Is Grogu a nexus point for those two cultures to perhaps unite under Tar Vizsla's Darksaber?
That's a very interesting perspective. You know, he is definitely somebody who has spent time in both worlds. And we know that he started off earlier in the Jedi Temple. We've seen flashbacks to that, that speak to that. And then we know that he's been rescued and spent many years with the Mandalorian, went back with Luke. Now we've been 2 years apart from him there training.
But Jon Favreau said in this podcast, he basically pointed out that Grogu spent 2 years training with Luke
during the Book of Boba Fett.
During the Book of Boba Fett. From the time, the end of Mandalorian Season 2, throughout the Book of Boba Fett, up until he got returned to Din Djarin. Apparently that was 2 years' time. But I've heard somebody else say that it could be that he meant it's been 2 years since we last saw them at the end of Mandalorian Season 2, which... No, that'd be like 3 years, wouldn't it? That wouldn't... Would that be 2 years? I don't know. Either way, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, unless, again, we're just being really fast and loose with how long all of this has been taking.
I got a feeling with these writers, you know, Filoni and Favreau, that it's all going to work out. We're going to understand it by the end of it.
I hope so.
They haven't let us down yet.
No, that is true. They have not. But yeah, so Din Djarin, he gets his, side quest 1 out of the way. He's got to get pieces to rebuild IG-11. Side quest 2, he's got to go take his bath with extra bubbles in Mandalore. Side quest 3, he has to figure out what he's going to do about the pirates, I guess.
Yeah, right. I just hope that's not a major storyline. I mean,
I hope not either, but I think you might be right. The fact that they're probably going to show up like the the end of the season or something. It'll be like, oh, right, we got to deal with this. This is going to be the big final battle moment.
Yeah. Well, they're definitely going to have another civil war type thing on Mandalore, I think, with Bo-Katan on the other
guaranteed.
side. Yeah. And who's Sabine gonna? Whose side is she gonna be on? We don't have any confirmation that she's gonna be on this show. She'll probably be on Ahsoka, but if she shows up.
Now, I'm under the assumption. I know that Keith kind of his theory was, if you go back and you watch our Theory Palooza video, Keith is under the assumption that she is going to join up with Din Djarin. Being that he's on friendly terms with like Ahsoka and all of that. I don't know. I don't see that being the case because she seemed throughout Rebels, she always seemed to put her family and the Mandalorians above most everything else. I see that the most in her training sequence with Kanan when he was showing her how to use the Darksaber. And she was real quick to kind of fall back on a lot of her Mandalorian tricks, use a lot of the stuff, against Ezra to knock him on his feet, and also used her little grappling wire against them. It was like she puts a lot of that before everything else, and I feel like she would be quick to follow the person that she originally gave the Darksaber to, and that being Bo-Katan. So that's my theory. I really don't think she's going to back some stranger that she probably hasn't met. Unless, again, it has been 2 years and they have run into each other.
Or if she just shows up and sees that he's got it, that might change her mind too, because she's so...
Maybe. Man. Or what if she challenges him for it? As a way to say, like, I'm going to give it back to its rightful owner.
Well, then she would become its rightful owner. If she wanted Bo-Katan to have it, she would have to have Bo-Katan there. You know what I mean?
Maybe, but she might not be aware of that whole, you have to win it in a battle rule, because she won it, but she immediately handed it over to Bo-Katan to begin with.
Yeah.
I don't think Bo-Katan would take it from her. Again, it would be the same thing like when Din tried to hand it to her. Like, I don't think she would accept it, but I could totally see that being something that she would do,
Yeah, she's about the people first, not about herself.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
For those of you who don't know, go watch Rebels. She's a great character. Yeah, if you haven't seen her in live action, it's because she hasn't been in live action. And I know certain people don't like to watch the animated shows because they're animated, but they're not kid shows. They definitely have a plot that lasts an entire season.
And they have a little murder robot.
Yes, Chopper. Chopper is awesome. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he might even be better than R2D2. He's got a little bit more personality. So, we covered all? Do we have anything else to add, Doug?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything. I mean, in fact, it seemed like the episode ended pretty abruptly, right? With him going to see Bo-Katan and him asking, hey, I want to, hang out with your non-Mandalorians who are all around here. And then, yeah, I guess it just stopped. They were done. They gave him all of his side quests. And now we got to wait until next Wednesday to see what happens next.
Goodbye, Din Djarin.
I'm thinking the next episode is going to be a little bit longer. This one's set up a lot. They set up 3 different areas.
Yeah,
and
pretty much.
I haven't heard if Taika Waititi is going to be back on this year, but it'd be neat to see IG-11 back alive. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it would definitely be neat to see him again. Again, I think that whole idea is weird that he really wants to rebuild that one specific droid. But I won't say no to Taika Waititi.
Right.
But hey, everyone, we can't let the Mandalorian have all the fun. We are equal opportunity fellow nerds here. Therefore, I have a mission for all of you. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hey, while you're at it, why don't you do all the rest of the YouTube stuff? Hey fellow nerds, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of this stuff, make sure that you check out our Twitch stream. We try to do these live Sunday or Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep an eye on our social media to find out when you can join in live and chat with us during these live streams. Also, as usual, don't forget to check out our other social media. Add us at Twitter, comment down below, and we'll see you next time right here on Not Your Status Quo.